Star Citizen 4.0, the upcoming patch for the game, has been ripped apart by CIG. At least many people feel that way. The patch promised to be a groundbreaking update with introduction of Pyro star system and the implementation of server meshing technology. But in addition to that, there was much other content that people have been long excited for. Unfortunately, key features have now been delayed or removed from the initial release, leaving many players wondering what the future holds for the game. So let's see what's going on with all of this. Since its inception then, Star Citizen has been a project of monumental scope and, massive ambitious creep as well. Patch 4.0 was poised to be a significant milestone for the game, and understandably a lot of people have been very excited for it. Me personally, yes, I've also been very keen to see both Pyro star system for many years now at this point, along with the server meshing, which should revolutionise the way the server performs, at least in theory. There's also a load of new gameplay mechanics, which include engineering gameplay, life support systems, and dynamic environmental hazards such as fire. So whilst server meshing and Pyro are still on the cards and they still will be coming with 4.0, it's a number of the new gameplay mechanics that have not made the cut. Let's get to the reasons for the delay first then, because I think those are probably the most important thing to understand, and then we'll take a look at exactly what has been delayed or removed. So CIG cited the need to focus on core functionalities of server meshing and the Pyro system. What is server meshing? Server meshing is a technology that's aimed at improving server performance and scalability, and I won't go into any more details than that, but just know that it allows more players to connect on to a specific server and, should hopefully make things far more stable, something that Star Citizen really does need. If you want to know more about server meshing, then check out the links in the video description. So CIG say that the need to focus on both server meshing and Pyro are the primary reasons for the delays. Server meshing, they say, is a complex technology, and yes, indeed it is complex technology, that allows the game world to be divided across multiple servers, improving performance and scalability. The problem here is that introducing too many new features simultaneously could compromise the stability of this foundational technology. So by reallocating resources and the development time, they can focus instead on perfecting server meshing, and CIG are really aiming to ensure that the core experience of 4.0 is stable and robust upon release. But that said, 4.0 has it's been highly anticipated, and many people feel too much scope creep perhaps, or too many overpromises here with the sheer abundance of features that were going to be added. So whilst the official explanation centres on technical priorities, some community members speculate additional factors. Resource allocation to Squadron 42 being one of these, a single player game that's coming in 2026. There are theories that development resources may have been diverted to Squadron 42, and this could have impacted the timeline for Star Citizen's new update. There's also theories surrounding marketing strategies. Releasing the 4.0 patch by the end of the year could coincide with marketing events like free flight periods, potentially boosting player engagement and funding. So they kind of want to make a few cutbacks here to ensure they can release the 4.0 patch in time for those. At least that's one of the theories. So what are these features? Well, despite the initial excitement, CIG announced that several key features would be delayed or removed from the 4.0 release. These will then come later in incremental updates. In total, we've got 6 different key features here. One is engineering gameplay, perhaps one of the most anticipated features. Then this engineering gameplay was set to allow players to manage ship systems intricately. This included repairing components, rerouting power through fuses, and maintaining the operational integrity of vessels during intense situations. The other mechanic here, the other element, is life support systems. This feature would have introduced the ability to control gravity and oxygen levels within the ship components, and players would have even had the ability to evacuate air from rooms, creating tactical advantages during boarding actions or emergencies. Fire hazards and fire extinguishers. Fires resulting from damage to overheating would have posed new threats, requiring players to extinguish them manually or through various different environmental controls like the aforementioned evacuation of air. Charge and drain mechanics are the fourth item that's been removed. These would have enabled players to manipulate power levels in ships and stations, and it's a feature that would have added layers of extra strategy to the game, such as disabling enemy systems or managing resources during critical moments. The really big thing for Pyro, aside from the system itself, was the solar burst. This is what's a key feature for Pyro. It's one of the things that makes this system so unique and so dangerous. The Pyro system's volatile star then was expected to emit dangerous solar flares, adding environmental hazards that players would need to navigate carefully. And then there's the transit system refactor, a complete overhaul of the game's transit system, including elevators and transportation networks, and this would have aimed at improving both reliability as well as integration with the server meshing. So all of those features have now been removed from the next version of the update. That's not to say they've been removed entirely. At CIG they say they will be coming at a later date, but it's anyone's guess whether they come in a single hit or over time, bit by bit. So those are the things that have been removed, but despite that, patch 4.0 does still bring plenty of new content and promises to expand Star Citizen overall. So what is being added still? Well, the Pyro system. This, as many people know, is a lawless environment. There's going to be 6 new planets, multiple moons, along with abandoned space stations, asteroid bases, and other various points of interest. And then there's the factions and gangs. These new NPC groups control various areas, offering new missions, and they also influence the dynamics of player interaction throughout the system. Server meshing technology, of course, is the big one. This should bring improved performance by distributing the game world across multiple servers, so players can expect something, well, a bit smoother perhaps than what we've got right now and far less lag. This also, server meshing is a foundation for expansion. It's technology that sets the stage for future editions that should hopefully make it easier to introduce new star systems, planets, and features without pulling the overall performance of the game down. And then there's some new additional content which includes new missions and events, some visual environmental enhancements as well, and some quality of life updates that also include bug fixes, optimizations, and minor feature additions that overall should help improve things. Ultimately, the community reaction then to all of this has been one of disappointment, and understandably so. Many players have been expressing their frustration over this. It's quite a big deal, isn't it? Star Citizen 4.0 was announced many years ago at this point. People keep waiting for it year after year, and finally we're getting very close to release, only for the rug to be pulled from underneath people's feet. Other people, meanwhile, have acknowledged the complexity of this game, that it is a pretty big deal, and their understanding as to the overall scheduling here. Ultimately, though, I think many people are not surprised to see all of these troubles. It does seem to be a hallmark of CIG and the development practices at this point. So yeah, still no release date for Star Citizen 4.0. Many people are hoping for it or expecting it to hit the PTU at some point, maybe in December, but who knows, it still could roll over into 2025. Wouldn't that be a thing? But yeah, I think a lot of people are still hoping to see it this year, at least based on the fact that these features have been now removed. It should make it easier to achieve that specific goal. At any rate, that's everything we've got on the Star Citizen for today. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.